I love it. Okay, so I love The Neighborhood. This is a show,
Great.
like at first I was like, what is this really about? And then it just
Hmm.
added the diversity and the multiple layers. And I'm like, oh, okay, it felt like it was different compared to other shows. So I
Hmm.
was wondering, originally, what was it that attracted you to the role?
I think the character Marty just kind of felt like something that I hadn't exactly seen before. It felt like you see these shows all the time, and they have like the black nerd, like they have the blurred character,
Hmm.
but they're always so incapable. They're always so
Right.
socially awkward and things like that. And Marty has elements of that classic like trope for those characters. But Marty was funny. Marty was shady. Marty
Hmm.
was he had a good job. He was his own. He had like his own energy, and I felt like I knew exactly what to do with that character. And in the grand scheme of the show, and like looking at his relationship to what the show is trying to do and the other characters, and like talking about bridging the gaps between different people's different perspectives, I thought Marty's perspective as like a young black millennial was just cool, and I could put a little flavor on it.
Right. Now, what I love also, it deals with a lot of today's topics. It had police
Yes.
brutality. It deals with religion, racism, Black Lives
Hmm.
Matters movement. I was wondering, was there a particular subject that you was excited for the show to tackle?
Um, no, I mean the thing that I really appreciate about our show is,
Mhm.
yes, it's super funny. And yes, we are able to sort of talk about these really like hot topics, these like current things that are happening, current events. But we do it in such a way that it's just a part of the formula of the show. So I'm never sort of surprised. I feel like the issues that affect Black people are always present in this show in some way, form, or fashion, just by nature of who's in the cast.
Mhm.
I feel like the issues of mothers and like younger parents, older parents, like all these things are just present in the makeup of our show. That's in the DNA of the show built in. I was, however, really proud. I feel like it was a proud moment when we were able to talk about the specifically the protests, not like Black Lives Matter in general, because they do, but specifically talking about the protests and like having our show um, give a take on it. I think I was really proud to do an episode like that, because as an artist, you want to reflect the times and you want to do something impactful. And a lot of times when you're doing sort of a multicam comedy, people want you to stay in your lane. Like, we just want to feel good. We want to come here to escape. And so you feel like there's this pressure not to talk about these things. But I was really proud that CBS let Jim and said and the rest of our creative team like take that step forward, because that's what our show is able to do. And I think that provides more healing in the long run than the jokes that were also present in that episode.
Right. Now, you attended Columbia University for
I
acting.
did.
What would you say were the greatest lessons that you learned as an actor and as a person that you can now apply to Marty?
I think the thing about conservatory programs, and it's so funny because as artists, like, you can go get training or you can't. Like, there could be a dude that could be like an electrician one day, and all of a sudden he's like the hottest actor in the world. And so the possibility of that is always enticing. But I chose to get training, and I think the thing that I found there that was most impactful for me is to just be yourself. And it sounds cliche, but these conservatory programs, in a sense, are built to sort of like break down everything that you think you know about acting. Which sometimes, because acting is so personal and so close to who you are, it feels like they're breaking down everything that you think you know about yourself. And then there's this process that's supposed to like build you back up. But oftentimes, especially for people of color in these programs that are not even intentionally tailored for white folks, it's
Right.
a situation where they don't have the tools to build you up in the way that you need to be. And so I was lucky enough to have mentors, which I suggest everybody in this, if you are passionate about anything, find somebody who's doing it better than you, and like really learn from them. But I had mentors in the city who just kept my head on straight and like allowed me to be myself. Like, one of my mentors, Brandon Durden, told me like, don't let nobody teach your grandma out of you. which was, I think, so valuable, because the thing that makes me me, and the thing that makes me interesting, and the thing that separates me from any other actor is my lived experience, is those little nuances that only I have. And I think finding that in myself in this like really, really intense graduate program was something that I think allowed me to succeed afterwards.
Right. Now with the show, you also co-star along with Tashina Arnold and Cedric the Entertainer. Is there any kind of lessons that they taught you along the way?
Yeah, yeah, man. The one thing I can say for sure, and I try to say this every time because I
Mhm.
think a lot of actors don't pay attention to it, but Cedric is a businessman, and I'm not talking about like a businessman that's like plotting behind the scenes, like cutthroat. I don't care. It's all about like he's really passionate about the acting. He's passionate about the art of it, but he's also really, really business savvy. And I think a lot of we don't have that training. Like nobody's there to teach you. Like as soon as you get a job, nobody's there to teach you what to do after you got the job and how to like navigate the business side of show business. And so watching Cedric do his thing and watching him like really tiptoe through like some of these really delicate relationships between like the networks and the producers and things like that, and seeing how he's able to show up and be himself and be powerful and be present and be black as hell is just, it's one of those things that is, it's like inspiring. It's inspiring.
Right.
So yeah.
So in the most recent episode, we kind of saw your character, you miss home.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting ways of how you kind of adapted and cope with that was that the
Hmm.
laundry. And I love how relatable it is because it was like parents, help us with the laundry. And I love
Yeah.
how it sent the message that how no matter how old you are, you always can and you will miss your family and it's okay,
Hmm.
especially in these times that it is. Was there a particular moment from that scene or anything else in the whole series as a whole that you related to personally?
I mean, and look, man, in this very, very difficult year that
Mhm.
2020 has been, it can be really isolating. And I'm a mama's boy. I'm a family kid. I like to be around my friends that I consider family and my family a lot, or as often as I can, as often as work will allow. And so, I miss my family. I miss my mama, and it's hard because I can't like fly to Texas. I can't drive to Texas. I can't fly to New Orleans. I mean, technically I could, but I'm putting my entire cast at risk.
Right.
But I can't like do those things, and I can't like hug my mom. I can't do all those things that I really, really, I feel like keeps me grounded in my art. So doing this episode where Marty is just trying to find a way to still feel connected, even though he's like done everything that you're supposed to do as a kid. You get a job, you move out, you know what you're supposed to do. Like you went to college, you got the degree, but so much of his sort of support system is his family. They're a very close, tight knit group, the Butlers, and so having him like miss his parents enough to lie about having to wash and dry just so that he can get that like when your mom washes your clothes, it's
Mhm.
different. It's
It
different. Like you
is.
got the special
Feels
detergent. No
different. It
matter what you
smells. Yeah.
do, you be in Target and you buy the game, but it don't smell the same. It's not the
Mm-mm.
same. And so just for Marty to have like that little piece of home and have that be a part of his story, I really connected to that, especially now.
And lastly, is there a future episode that you're really excited for fans to see?
There are a couple. I feel like the good thing about season three is now that we're 3 years in, people have really gotten a chance to sit with the characters. Like they
Mhm.
know the characters, they know the characters a little bit, and so we get to explore like other parts of their personalities.
Okay.
And the thing that I really like this season is there's a huge, huge sibling rivalry between Malcolm and Marty. And it's always been present, right? Like Marty's a mama's boy, Malcolm usually hangs out with his dad. It's always been there, but this season, Malcolm and Marty go head to head a lot. And obviously in the like larger view of the show, like it helps them grow as men. Like we see that. But on like a real petty level, like for fun,
Mhm.
it's just a lot of fun to see. And I really enjoyed watching Sheehan McKinney, who plays Malcolm,
Mhm.
like be in funny scenes with me. Like it's just because he's so funny. He's a really, really funny actor. And so to have that like push pull dynamic, I think the audience will really enjoy that.
Is there a lot of ad-libbing that goes on?
Not for me. So what happens is like Cedric, they trust Cedric and Max. Like those guys can obviously play with it and tweak it a little
Mhm.
bit. But for us, we rehearse an episode for a week. Like we have a whole week of rehearsal before we actually get to the day where we film the episode. And so as we're doing things, like somebody can do something spontaneous that the writers will be like, yeah, let's keep that in. But when it's time to shoot on this multicam show, because
Mhm.
all the cameras are like this one big well-oiled machine, we can't really go off script as much because I'm not said. But one day,
One day,
I hope to be able to showcase that skill.
next season,
Next season.
we're gonna see you all in your comedic ad-libness.
Hey man, I'm good. I'm good. Like it's one of my favorite things to do, and it's like
Mhm.
one of the easiest ways to like keep all the other actors on their toes. So one day,
Wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
thank you.
I truly
Thank you.
enjoyed the show. I love it. I look forward to the future.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you